My name is Ambry, and today I'm going to be going over my second trimester of pregnancy, what I went through, and my experience, and how things were for me. I have a video about my first trimester and just how terrible I felt, and I just felt fatigued, and I was sick all of the time and so nauseous, and so you are welcome to check that out. And today it's a lot more exciting hearing about the second trimester, because this is the time where I really started feeling much better and feeling more myself. And about 15 weeks uh, into pregnancy, my second trimester is when I started having more energy and I was eating better and I felt just great. Like, I felt really good. And so that was just so exciting to finally enter into again. And people had told me, just like, hold on, like, just get through your first trimester, like, things will get better. And it was so hard to believe that when I was struggling so much. So I'm so grateful that it did change and things were so much better. Like I said, I had so much more energy, which really helped to go back to exercise routine. So I had not been running or doing anything crazy before pregnancy, so that's not something I wanted to add in at this time. So what I did really work on and emphasize was walking, because it's just so easy to walk and to add that into your life. And so I would go to the gym and walk, and I would walk with friends, which was fun because it was a more social thing. So I really walked a lot, as much as I could, because I have the energy back now to do that. And of course, my goal with exercise was so different than before pregnancy. The real reason I would exercise in pregnancy is because it just made me feel good. It also would help me to sleep better at night. I would not exercise at night because that kind of helps, that keeps you up, which is not great. So I would exercise earlier in the day, and that would also help me sleep better at night, just to kind of get things going and moving and be more tired at night. So that definitely helped for that. It also helped to reduce swelling. Being able to move and get your blood circulating more helps to lessen the chances of swelling, which thankfully I hadn't really experienced much. And just, it made me feel great. Like, it was great to have the energy back and feel just so much more empowered and better that I could actually do something and walk and experience that again. And I also just want to build up my endurance again. My first trimester I was not really exercising, and birth is just such a marathon, and you need a lot of endurance and strength, and so that is another reason I really want to focus on exercise and adding that back in. So that was a great thing for me, and made me feel really good and energized just to walk, and walking is easy. So something that I did that worked for me. And also for food, I was so excited, like I said, to eat normally again, and it took some time to build up to what I was eating before. But I definitely was eating for two, that is true, but I was trying not to keep in mind, some people say, like, eat double the amount that you would, or eat twice as much because you're pregnant. And that's definitely a misconception. Like, you don't want to be, overindulging all the time. Definitely not great for multiple reasons. And so I would definitely add in foods that were real foods. I would try to eat organic meats and fruits and vegetables when I could, just because they are just so much better. And so it was nice to add those things back in when I wasn't getting as much of them in my first trimester. This was really the time that I was really focusing on my nutrition and giving this baby and myself nutrients, as my body is just like in overdrive, like helping to grow this baby. So I definitely wanted to help nourish myself. And also, this baby is growing and changing too, so the importance of that. So this is definitely a time that's really important to add in these good things. And of course, there's moments to indulge. I was pregnant my second trimester was during Thanksgiving and Christmas, so of course there's, you know, times to indulge for sure. But I would try to add in as many real foods as I could, even just stocking my pantry with good things that I would have on hand. So when I was craving something sweet, I could have better options. And of course, if I'm out and there's like a sweet treat, you know, I definitely have that too. And there have definitely been times where I have indulged, and, you know, not to feel guilty or anything over that, but to enjoy those times too, but not make it an everyday occurrence if possible. So yeah, that's something that I try to focus on, and it's definitely harder when your hormones are changing and, you know, you're having certain cravings and everything, but just trying to eat as healthy as possible. And also something called grazing, which is where you eat smaller meals throughout the day, really helped too to keep me full and satisfied from being hungry all of the time. So that really helped as well. During the second trimester, I really worked hard on trying to remember to document pictures of my growing bump weekly. Some weeks I missed here and there, but at least every month for sure I would try to set up my tripod and my camera and like get a picture just to have those sweet memories. And it's so fun to look at how the bump has been growing from month to month, and just to have those. So that's something I definitely really worked hard to do, even though it wasn't perfect. And yeah, so I worked hard on doing that, which worked out well. And also something so special was when the baby kicked for the first time. It was around 18 weeks for me, and I didn't know at first that's what those little flutters were. Like, I don't know what that is exactly, but then it kept happening more and more, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, the baby's moving, this is so fun. And it was just so fun to just like place my hand on my belly and just feel the movement and just know that this baby is really there, and so cool. Also, a few weeks later, maybe like 2 weeks or so, the movement was getting, you know, the baby was getting bigger, and so that was the time when my husband was actually able to feel the baby move for the first time. And that was just such a sweet moment where he could just place his hand on my belly, and like his face when that first happened was just, I'll never forget it. It was really, really a great time that we were able to share as the three of us, and so fun, and just fun to be around friends and family. And I would feel him kick. They could experience that moment too, and kind of get to know him a little bit as he's growing my belly. And yeah, so that was great. Yeah, so it's very special. And we had been waiting so long for our 20-week ultrasound, and the day had finally arrived when it was time to go and to see this baby. And our last ultrasound was at around 10 weeks, so he had really grown in 10 weeks time, which was so cool. And so we got to see his like fingers and toes, and we looked away when she was finding out the gender because we didn't want to know right away. We had her write it down and put it in an envelope, and we had a gender reveal that night, which revealed what this baby was. And so that was really fun. My husband and I weren't really set on a certain gender. We didn't, I feel like it was hard to like know. I wasn't like, oh, this is definitely a boy or definitely a girl. I was just so thankful to be pregnant, and honestly, for our first baby, we were just so happy that we were finally pregnant, and not picky at all whether it was a boy or girl. Didn't really have a feeling either way. And yeah, so that was what worked for us. We wanted to be surprised at our gender reveal. That's not always the best option if we had been set on a certain gender, and would have been like disappointed if we found out it was one way or the other. We weren't thinking it would have been that way. So I love surprises, and we were so excited for a boy or a girl. So we had a gender reveal with some friends and family. It was a small gathering, and we had this like smoke bomb thing that a friend lit for us. We put it in a pumpkin, and then we like looked back and we saw like blue smoke, and we found out it was a boy, and we were just so happy, and just it was just like a life-changing moment where you finally find out like what the baby is. Like, he's a boy. It's so exciting. So that was just definitely a night we'll never forget, and just so fun. It's just so exciting to know what this baby is, like to know it's a boy and to dream about what he's gonna be like. And so that was just such a dream come true to know and plan out some things for him before he arrives. So we really loved that time, and I'm just so excited for him to arrive soon. At around 22 weeks or so, we decided to take a Babymoon to Clearwater Beach, Florida. We had some points left on Southwest that we knew we were going to really use once the baby came, and we had also some points through our credit card for staying at a hotel, so we used that as well. So it was a fairly cheap Babymoon. We only went for maybe 3 nights. It was just special to get away and to soak up time with just the two of us. And the weather was really gorgeous, and it was in like late October, so it was getting a little chilly in Maryland, and it felt really good, and it was in the 80s in Florida, so that was fun to kind of escape the chilly fall weather and to, you know, be on the beach. So that was a special time, and we're so grateful that we did it. We were kind of going back and forth, and it was just a special memory to have, and so we were grateful to be able to do that. And to soak in, like I said, those special times and have date nights, and you know, because it's exciting with a family of 3, but it's also a challenge to get away more and to find childcare and all of those things. So that was really cool. So something that my husband and I had really thought about and talked about was what birthing class we were going to take. So I had really been loving Mama Natural. I've been following her throughout my pregnancy, and I saw that she offered a birthing course, and so I was just so excited that she had one, and it was all online and something my husband and I wanted to do. She really promotes a natural birth, and that's something that we have been on board with. And so she has the birthing course, and she also has a book that I've been following, and it goes week by week for your pregnancy, and you can kind of check out the different weeks and see how your body's changing, how the baby's growing every week, and it's just so helpful. So I really loved her class. Her class is so good. It's making us feel so prepared, and along with the class, when you sign up, she gives you affirmation cards, and these are beautiful cards that they're just filled with so many encouraging messages, and I love the illustrations on them too. And I'm all about affirmations and encouraging messages and quotes and scriptures, so this is totally something that I love, and I will be packing in my hospital bag to have these encouraging affirmations as well. So I highly, highly recommend you find a really good birthing class for you. We love that we could go back and rewatch different things too. That was important to us. And so that's something that worked for us, and we don't regret that decision at all. Something else I've been doing in my second trimester is journaling. So I did get this in my first trimester, but I really have been doing a lot more journaling in my second trimester. And it's called Bump for Joy. It's a pregnancy journal, and you can go week by week and just say how you're feeling. And there's just so many cool questions in here and great things to write down, and just so great to remember this season and this exciting time. My mom came over the other day and she brought her pregnancy journal, and it was just so special to hear different things from her experience when she was pregnant with my brother and with myself, and just a really cool thing to document and to have on hand for sure. I really love pictures. So I made it priority to book a maternity session so we could have really good pictures to just have this time and have this memory forever of my baby bump and my husband and I together. And we also booked a newborn session pictures for when he does come. That was something that is really important to us as well. I'm really into photography and capturing moments, so we definitely made sure to plan that ahead of time just to have that ready. And I'm so excited about pictures and just having those for our photo albums and having them to look back on. And we have been kind of sitting down and trying to figure out what house projects need to be started in this second trimester and what we can do to kind of break things down and go week by week and getting the nursery ready and just different things that we need to do. So we're trying to have a plan for that. I also want to organize the house just so the house is kind of in a good place when the baby comes, because those things might not get done right away. So those are some things that we've been also working on and prioritizing during this time. In the second trimester is a time when my belly is starting to grow and to change and get bigger as this baby grows. And so in order to help prevent or lessen stretch marks, I have gotten some belly butter. This is by Berts Bees. I really like their brand, and they have better ingredients in their products, so I went with this brand. And I put it on about twice a day, if I can remember to do twice a day. Usually when I get out of the shower or before bedtime, I will just slather that on and just have it on my belly as it grows and stretches. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with stretch marks, and I could get them, I don't know. But it's also a beautiful reminder of what our bodies are capable of, and God designed our bodies to have these babies, and stretch marks just might be a result of that, and that's okay. But it's good to kind of help with the stretching process as we grow and expand. So that's definitely something I highly recommend. It also just feels good to have on your belly as well. And something that you can experience with the second trimester is swelling and varicose veins too, like the appearance of varicose veins. So in order to help with that, I have gotten compression socks to kind of wear. I try to wear them when I can. It definitely helps that it's colder. It's a colder season, so I can wear them more easily. I can imagine it being hard in the summertime to wear compression socks. But yeah, so I have those on hand to wear when I can. Also to help with swelling, I always drink so much water every day. I make sure to fill up my water bottles, and when I leave, I take them with me and I have them next to me the whole time, just so I'm like constantly chugging water, which definitely helps with swelling and just so many other benefits. So definitely a great reminder to just keep filling it up and keep drinking some good water as well. Sleep insomnia can definitely become an issue in the second trimester. Unfortunately, it is not a fun thing to lay in bed and just wish that you were sleeping and you can't fall asleep. It's just a very difficult thing. Some things that have worked for me, I've learned that drinking cherry juice before bedtime is great. It's a natural form of producing melatonin. So I would drink about 2 tablespoons before bed. I would try to do it 2 hours before, but sometimes I would forget and just drink it right before, and that worked too. So I can mix it with water, just drink 2 tablespoons right away, and it tastes good. And the nights that I did not drink cherry juice, I definitely noticed a difference, as crazy as it sounds. So highly recommend cherry juice. Even if you're not pregnant, you're just trying to sleep better. Definitely give it a try. There's studies out there that show how helpful it can be, and even great to give to kids too if they're not sleeping well. So something to keep in mind. Cherry juice, definitely helpful. When I made time to take a bath, just being able to be in the warm water and to relax was a huge thing and really got me ready for bed. And I would also add an Epsom salt, which has magnesium, and magnesium is so good to help you get more tired and prepare you for bed too. So taking a nice warm Epsom salt bath is definitely a great idea as well. And when of course, as you're getting bigger and the baby's getting bigger and they press in your bladder more, so you have to get up and go to the bathroom, that is the hardest thing, because then you lay there and it's harder to go back to sleep. And sometimes I would lay there and I'd just be so hungry, and it would be so hard to get up out of bed, come downstairs and get a snack, because then it would be even harder to fall back asleep. So I definitely had snacks next to my bedside just to have if I was super hungry. I could eat them and try to fall back asleep if I could. And I tried so hard not to grab from my phone. I tried to just close my eyes and lay there even when it was hard to fall asleep, because that gave me a better chance, because once I reached for my phone it was more difficult to fall asleep. So that did not always happen, but that was the goal, to try. And also, speaking about phones, I would try my best to work on limiting my screen time before bed, because that kind of stimulates you, like if you're watching TV or on your phone, which most of us are, before bed, it's harder to kind of relax and sleep. So I worked really hard on reading books before bed and trying to put my phone away, and did not do that perfectly, but that was something I was aiming to do better. For sure, and I definitely noticed a difference too, and I get tired when I read, so that was helpful as well. Also, limiting the fluids that you drink before bed, because that could help not have to get up to go to the bathroom. So that's something that I tried to work on as well. I was so thankful that in my first trimester I really did not experience much heartburn at all. As the second trimester hit, I definitely had random times where I would have heartburn. Thankfully, it wasn't consistent, which I was so grateful for. And there's the old wives' tale that the baby could have hair, and so that's interesting too. We'll have to see if that's true or not. So some things that worked for me when I did have heartburn, it usually was after I would have things that had tomatoes in them. So I try to be proactive, and I would mix apple cider vinegar. I get the Bragg kind with the mother, that's the best kind to get, and I would mix that with lemon juice and put that in warm water, and I would try to drink that. It's not always the tastiest, but it helped with heartburn. Or I would try to drink it a little bit before bedtime too, just to kind of help fight the heartburn before it started. So it just depended on what I ate and if I thought that heartburn would be a result of what I had that day. So those are two things that helped me. And weirdly enough, if I would wake up with heartburn, sometimes I would come downstairs and like eat an apple, and sometimes that helped a little bit, which is strange, but hey, if it works, then it works. And also just propping my head up, I would try to put like another pillow under my head, and like propping myself up helped with heartburn as well, just to like change my position. And sometimes heartburn is hard to avoid just because of the baby like growing and things are just moving up, and just kind of a result of the changes that are happening to your body. But yeah, it's worth a shot to try those things and see what works for you. All in all, the second trimester was incredible. I just felt so much better than I had in the first trimester, and it was great to have the energy back and to feel good and to eat again, and just such a great time. And I loved feeling my baby kick for the first time, and seeing our little baby in the ultrasound again, and to find out he was a boy, and just have the time to go on a Babymoon. And so it was just such a special season for us, and we've learned and grown so much, and really have grown. And so it's such a fun time. And so thank you for listening. I'd love to learn what you've been through with your second trimester, maybe some things that worked for you with sleep insomnia or heartburn. So definitely let me know, and I'd love to hear what your experience was too. Thanks again so much for watching, and be sure to make a video number 3 of the third trimester. Thanks.